Are we in a cycle of nonsense? Now, I wanted to leave the EU to control our borders, our laws and, frankly, our lives. I didn't want a bunch of middle-aged bureaucrats, mainly men, who don't even live here in the UK, telling me what to do. I wanted our politicians in this country to run it without the shackles of the EU. I was sick of a flooded workforce bringing wages down and enabling big business to benefit on cheap labour. I wanted rules and regulations that would work in the interest of this country because I believed surely our politicians could do better. After all, they live here. Now, I was listening to LBC on the radio when this caller came to air.
I'm on Netflix only because I don't have to pay for it because a friend gifted me with a subscription. Nobody needs Netflix while there is Brexit Britain. You guys are incredible. Have been for the past 6 years.
Yeah, basically what he's talking about is how hilarious everything was watching us as we attempted to leave the EU. And the whole journey home, I couldn't stop laughing at just what our politicians in this country have put us through. Let's do a montage. And if you can't see the pictures, by the way, make them up in your head. It's probably still fresh in your memory. Let's start with winning the Leave vote 6 years ago. Oh, it was euphoric. I was so annoyed I hadn't put a bet on. I'd actually called the bookies that day and then changed my mind. I've never really put a substantial bet on anything in my life, but if I had, I would now be driving the Range Rover I've been dreaming of instead of my C1. All credit to it, though, it has done 170k miles and it's pretty good on the juice, especially with the fuel prices as they are. Now, I don't want to jinx it. Now, what I hadn't banked on was the power of the Ramona. Cast your mind back to Emily Thornberry in tears, or was it Anna Soubry, both equally as annoying, crying like precocious kids at school who didn't get their own way. David Cameron, who disappeared in a puff of smoke. Theresa May stepped into the breach, foolishly called an election and lost her majority. I recall things like fox hunting in her manifesto, ridiculous, totally unrelatable to regular people like you and me. I'll never forget that speech that she did when she was losing her voice and the letters fell off from behind her head. It was hilarious. And there followed years of shenanigans. We got a peek into the Houses of Parliament. It was addictive viewing. The rest of the world got to see how archaic our system is, and frankly, you'd have thought you were watching the comedy Yesminster instead of the reality. The antiquated language, eyes to the left, eyes to the right, John Bercow taking leave of his role as neutral speaker and deciding to openly show his Remain bias, a bit like the BBC. It was a total mess. It was not only entertaining, but hilarious, and the rest of the world agreed. We became a laughingstock, and they're still laughing. So 6 years on, 3 leaders down, we haven't moved a jot. In fact, there's a good chance that this has all been in vain and we could erase that last 6 years and could end up going backwards, back to square one. It seems that those who have not come to terms with the democratic mandate will find every opportunity to change the narrative in their favour, and Boris Johnson, to them, was like a gift that kept giving. But for me, the most sinister of angles, and the one I found most unforgivable and far more dangerous to democracy than anything Boris Johnson did, was the assault by the established media on Boris, a democratically elected Prime Minister with the biggest majority, and I'm calling it out now, a disgraceful, sustained attack that rendered his voice silent and his actions powerless. He was attacked from all angles, and in the end, people started buying into it.
We've had people on his own side who did support him merely weeks ago who are saying it's over. And it is over.
I'm almost grateful to Boris Johnson there for just reminding us at the end that all of the words I used to describe him are fair and accurate and in some ways not even adequate, because he is utterly reprehensible, utterly vile, utterly despicable. Goodbye, Boris Johnson, and may we never look upon your like again.
Well, what if they don't like the next one?